Hello, welcome to another Bulblog video diary supplement. In these times of lockdown, I'm doing a few more videos than I would normally do. And today I thought in this garden walk around, I'm going to try and point out the layout of the garden rather than looking at the individual flowers. So I'm currently standing on our back doorstep and we look across to the paved area, the shed, and the area where a lot of the troughs and the raised beds are. Down here we've got one of the sand bulb beds. So we'll go up and go around this way, past the bonsai. Everywhere there's troughs and containers, of course. So this end of the garden is where the alpines perhaps are growing in the pots, and not the pots but the troughs, and little containers, little tiny containers made at workshops where I'm demonstrating. Round here, tucked in the side of the slab beds, 4 big slab beds, we have some smaller slab beds, plunge beds, where we've got erythroniums growing in. Every opportunity in the garden there are areas you can walk. So if I stand back and look and pan up, you can see the amount of trees we have. The canopy's just coming out. I can just see the leaves starting to open. So very soon the whole atmosphere in the garden will change as all the trees gain their leaves. So as we come up, there's more frames as we walk through the gap in the slab beds. We turn to our left, and this is the bed I refer to as the bulb bed, which, as the name suggests, is where we've primarily got bulbous plants, but not exclusively. We need other things. And as I say, every time you come there's another opportunity to walk a different way. So we can walk across here and go round one of the slab beds, and at the same time, wherever you go, you get views across the beds and across the garden, using diagonals, using long views. Makes it feel like a much bigger garden than it really is. So having taken a walk, it's important that there's an alternate route back. So that's what I like when I designed and laid out the garden. We wanted as many opportunities, so not going through that gap, but coming up here to some of the frames where we grow the erythroniums. And again, we can turn and we start getting views. Sometimes the view allows you to look all the way up the garden, and sometimes it's restricted by barriers of here rhododendrons and moving up lots of trees. But always lots of views. It's especially colourful coming into this season with erythroniums and the spring bulbs. And then we return to the path, which, as all paths in gardens should be, it shouldn't be a straight line. So it goes straight for a bit, and then it curves and it disappears, and you're not sure which direction it's going to go in. We come up to a regular feature in the garden. Is a Japanese style lantern we commissioned to be carved for one of our significant wedding anniversaries many years ago. And along the side of the path we've got little plantings. And then we come to the main path, and here again we come to a crossroads. So we could walk along this way up to where there's some stone furniture, so a granite seat and a granite saddle stone or mushroom. And always getting glimpses beyond through the bushes. So we can come up to this big bed, and there's the path. So we could go left or right, but we'll keep going up this path at the moment. And again, as we go through, we get glimpses forward. We can see through here towards the birch, the Himalayan white birch, way over there, and that's inviting us to walk, but we can't go directly. There's beds in our way. So we're brought back to the path, which leads us. The path is spaced out paving slabs most of the way around the garden. And here we come, we can turn around and look back up the path towards the house and over the beds. And there's another pathway we could use. Here's evidence here that we have the sparrowhawks come into the garden, so sadly a blackbird became a sparrowhawk meal there. We've got a back path here. The back path is largely to help us maintain the hedge, but ferns all along the base of the hedge. I just recently cut off the old fronds. These are evergreen ferns, so I took off the old fronds, and now we've got these lovely new fronds coming through. So ferns are a very important part of our garden. So up the back path, using all the areas, even deep under the shade of rhododendrons, we can grow shade tolerant plants. But again we get views. Another stone granite seat here leads us round to another lovely view. Well, I think it's lovely. Multi-trunked acer. It's a red-leafed acer. You can see the red haze above us starting to appear. But rhododendrons, small ones, looking up to the bigger ones. Rhododendron decorum, the big tall ones. That's phalarope we're looking at. And we've options, so we can walk through here down the back path by the hedge up to the pond, coming in the back way to the pond, where we've got more sort of large. It's really an offence to the term to call them bonsais, but they are pot-grown trees. This is my marginal bed I made a few years ago, and across the pond gives us another lovely view out across the garden, with the pond in the foreground, the wee islands in the pond. One day I'll come back and I'll do a talk, a walk around the pond looking in more detail, but this is not the detail, this is just giving you the idea of the layout of the garden. So I'm now close to the, well, I'm with my back, if I move backwards, I now have my back against our western boundary, looking to the eastern boundary down there, with our southern boundary to my right, where look, this is the south end of the garden. And the bare spaces in there were where again I cut back. I haven't cut all the ferns back, there's some ferns not cut, but that will soon be clothed in ferns and the honeysuckles. And as you can see from the tree stumps, I took down some trees there some years ago. So around this, up beside the pond, finds me beside the new bed beside the pond. And then we can walk around, and there's a gateway which leads you from the sort of woodland part of the garden into the pond area, with the new bed beside the pond. Heading east, I can feel the cold wind. It really is a cool, although it's quite nice today. There is a cold easterly wind. The wind's coming off the sea, the sea is just 2 miles that way. We can see it from points in the garden, we can see the sea. The new bay areas, which we'll come back to round, but again, always different views. There's always options, so we can go back that way, or we could go up round along the wall. So we'll just go back this way. And we come through the gateway. It's just a symbolic gateway. And we're back to the area where the sparrowhawk had its meal, and the rhododendron phalarope, and another path. But as I say, we always want options of where you can go. So you could go right or left. We've already been to the right by a different route, so we'll go along here. Lots of plants, lots of interest. Then we come to a set of steps, well, a set, 2 steps down to a lower level, which we falsely created because the garden is almost flat. It was just a long slope, but we dug down and raised these walls to make it different. So here we have another option. We go right or left, so we'll go around the anti-clockwise direction. Again, heading south to the boundary. To my left side there's a big raised bed that we can walk all the way around. Stepping over the path, again here everywhere, paving slabs set into gravel, but the gravel has become rather more place for plants. This is the area that until a couple of years ago the shrubs came right out to here. All that area was under trees and shrubs, and I've opened it up and opened up that section of the wall and all this bed here. This area was opened up and there's all new planting, and then in there we're still working in the shade in the deeper areas. We're not going to take all those rhododendrons down in the trees, but in there it's amazing what we can grow. Trillium, grandiflorums and other trilliums in there, so it's just a process of building up. So around the other route we come to the tiptoeing through the erythroniums. As I say, this is not a walk to look at the plants, this is a walk to look at the garden layout. And we get other views here. Around we can see from here the trees and the shrubs. You're starting to get the effect of the trees in the garden. I'm standing here beside the Betula utilis, Himalayan white birch. It's a pretty tall tree now, goes way up there. But the whole idea is that wherever we are, rhododendrons get raised up so we can plant right in underneath them. As we spin round, we get a look back towards the house and the multiple way here again. As I say, another crossroads with four routes, so we're coming up one. You can go left, right or straight on. And there's a side route here, which we'll just take up past sculpture. We have here up to the bulb houses, or along our eastern boundary against the hedge. And here again we've got vistas across the garden to where we started. And just around you always want vistas, and you're looking at how to open up vistas. This one was good because here we've got the bed in front of us, and if I pan up we come up past one of my old sculptures, and there's the raised wall, and there beyond it is a new bed beside the pond, which I wanted to. Before that was just an area to stack boxes with erythroniums, and it was a break in the landscape that I wanted to the naturalised area beyond, but now it all works, that lovely vista across. In fact, we can just go back. We'll just go back down. past more troughs that are suffering in this heat, or rather, well, not heat, dryness. It's not warm. I mean, I think we're about, it feels like about 7 or 8 degrees because we've got that cool wind. So we're kind of back to where we started. There's the back door step there, and this is the other path that we didn't use yet, but we'll just finish this walk around looking at the layout of the garden with another look up at the trees. Pigeon's nest up there, wood pigeon. And then this is the other path that takes you up the garden past the spring beds, the spring earliest flowering beds, the earliest plantings we keep near the house, so from the winter we can see. But the colours over briefly, the best of the colour. We're just waiting for the rest of the erythroniums to open. And this path takes you back up to the raised bed and the wall with the pine. And this lovely vista across the 3 beds. So 3 beds combined to one, the raised wall, the new bed by the pond, and beyond that the naturalised bed. So that's a view around the garden to try and give you an idea of the layout. Just when you lay out your garden, try and have mysteries and block views from some points and give people the opportunity to get a long vista, which is what I'm doing. I'm just wandering up here to give you the last vista across part of the garden from in the bushes. If I back in here, there we go. That's looking north across the garden. So that's the layout of the garden. Thank you for joining me if you've stayed this long. It's been a pleasure sharing my garden with you. Bye for now.